Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. It is Thursday morning, but it's today, February 25th, and I'm over in South Haven visiting Mom. And it's a beautiful sunshiny day over here today. It's a little cool, chilly, 20 degrees over here. Yesterday, when Laura and I left, it was 52 degrees, so a little difference of coming over here by the lake. We're going to start the meditation at 10:02, so we'll give it about another minute and a half, and we'll get going. Thanks so much for joining this morning. All right, it is 10:02. Good morning. Morning, everybody. Good morning. Um, let's see. I'm over here in South Haven visiting Mom right now, so Mom's going to join meditation, and have the person who's actually helping to take care of her is going to join this morning as well. So, any case, thank you all for joining this morning, and I'm feeling grateful because it's a beautiful sunshiny day out today. So, in South Haven, Michigan. Let's meditate. So if you haven't already, just getting yourself nice and comfortable. And just taking a nice deep breath in. And just letting go of all your stress, all your worries, any burdens. And you literally don't have to carry any worries, burdens, anything that is of stress at all. I invite you just to let it go, whether that's give it to God or just see it floating away. Just letting it go and be present right here. There's nowhere you need to go. There's nothing you need to do other than just being here right now. And just allowing your body to kind of melt into whatever you're on, your chair, the bed, the floor. Just allowing your body to completely physically relax. And just allowing your mind to completely relax as well. But we don't need to go in with any agendas. There's no agenda to have this meditation go a certain way. Just let it unfold whatever way it needs to unfold. And sometimes people say to me that they don't know how to meditate. They're not good at meditating because their mind is so busy. And they're busy trying to still their mind. So I would suggest don't try to still your mind. You don't need to quiet it. It's a natural occurrence as we begin to be a witness to the thoughts rather than following and believing the thoughts. So it doesn't matter whether you have one thought or 10,000 thoughts during the meditation. It doesn't matter because you are not going to listen to the thoughts. You don't need to fight the thoughts. You don't need to argue with them or try to get rid of them because you are not your thoughts. And for some, when they first start meditating, it's such a hard concept to understand. What do you mean I'm not my thoughts? What do you mean I'm not the thinker of my thoughts? But the Buddhists call this monkey mind, chattering monkey. And we have 60,000 to 120,000 thoughts every single day. You literally have a thought going on every second. How do you still the mind then? You don't do it by trying to still the mind, which only engages the mind more, because now the mind is trying to figure out how to be still and quiet, and it's doing exactly the opposite. You simply notice the thought. And it's kind of like a cloud passing by. If the cloud is passing by, you wouldn't stop and analyze it or try to correct the cloud that it should be different. You wouldn't fight against it or argue with it. Why? Because you recognize that you are not the cloud, so you simply allow it to pass on by. A thought is the same thing. You don't need to fight against it. You don't need to correct it. Even self-talk to say, okay, I shouldn't be thinking this way, or I should be more kind, those are still more thoughts from the mind. The only thing necessary is to simply notice the thought, or maybe you have a feeling, notice the feeling, and simply allow it to gently and effortlessly pass on by. The more you practice this, the easier it gets for you to recognize that you are not your thoughts. And the thoughts are always coming and going. That's just what the mind does. Not you, that's what the mind does. And it's okay, there's nothing bad or wrong with it, unless you are believing everything the mind is telling you is true. The more you simply notice the thoughts and are a witness to the thoughts, they begin to lose their hold on you, and the struggle and the suffering begins to fall away. Eckhart Tolle once said, "The situation is never the problem. It is only your reaction to the situation that can be." So the so-called worst of possible things can happen, but if you recognize that this is just life and God bringing forth that which needs to come forth to help you to awaken to the truth of who you are, and so you don't fight the lesson, you don't fight the experience, you simply flow with it, there can be peace, literally be peace in any situation. And as I've said many times, stress, the definition of stress is wanting life to be different than what it is. So when you're having an experience in life and your mind tells you, I don't like this experience, I want to get rid of it, I'm not happy with it, somehow God has made a mistake and brought me something that he shouldn't have brought, it shouldn't have brought. And consequently, you begin to fight against life, you begin to fight against the experience, and it's the very thing that creates the stress and suffering. So, I invite you right now to let go of all of your desires and all of your attachments. Why? Because all your desires and attachments come from the mind. The mind is trying to convince you that you need something in order to be happy. When this thing happens, then I'll be happy. Or I'm going to wait for this to happen, then I'll be happy. And so we find ourselves always waiting for these things that the mind desires, not you, that the mind thinks will bring happiness. But the truth is, the mind does not know what happiness is. It only has ideas or beliefs or concepts of what it thinks happiness is, but it can never fully know happiness. It can never fully know peace. It can never fully know love, because it's always seeking more and more. When you accomplish one thing, it might be that your mind subsides because it got what it wanted. It might be you might be happy for a little bit, but it's not a sustaining joy, peace, or love. So we have to look beyond the mind. We have to look to that thing that never fades away, that doesn't come and go, and that never dies. And that thing, that isness, is you. Because if you are the thought, who is the one that is aware of the thought? You have the thought, man, what an idiot that guy is. And I'd like to just punch him in the nose. That's usually my example that I like to give. And what happens is, you become aware of that thought eventually. You might be caught and dragged into that drama, that experience, but there's also a part of you that is aware of that and says, no, I know that's not the right thing. Even though my mind wants to do that, I know that's not the right thing. Who knows it's not the right thing? Who is the one that is aware of all your thoughts, and who is the one that is making a deeper choice than your mind? Let's face it, the mind would do all kinds of nefarious things if we let it. But who is the we? Who is that core truth of who you are? So I do invite you to let go of all your desires, all your attachments, and then, no matter what life, no matter what God brings, you can be at peace with all of it. Because you have given up the struggle of fighting God, and you're trusting and having faith that every single thing that is brought to you is exactly what you need to experience. And the mind will fight this. Just simply notice when the mind is fighting it. Notice when the mind wants that to be different. Notice any thoughts or beliefs that come up on that. And then as soon as you notice it, just allow them to gently and effortlessly pass on by. And we try so hard to find happiness. We try so hard to find peace. We try so hard to love and be loved. But in truth, you don't have to seek or find any of those, because you are already that. You are already peace. You are already joy. You are already love. But our mind has convinced us that we are less than that. And the mind will convince us of all sorts of things, most of which are not good, are not kind, are not compassionate or loving. It's usually we're not enough, or we could have handled this better, we should have done this or that. We're too heavy, we're too skinny, we're too old, we're too young, we're too mean, we're not nice enough. The mind will go on and on, because that's what the mind does. The mind comes from a place of duality. This is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. The famous mystic poet Rumi once said, there is a field that is beyond the right doing and wrong doings. I will meet you there. I always kind of paraphrase that because I think I don't get the quote quite right, but Rumi is talking about going beyond the mind, going beyond the duality of mind, which is always in judgment of ourselves and others and the world. But the only way we can return home to the peace, joy, and love that we are is we have to go beyond the mind. We have to go beyond the belief that we are the thinker, or even that we are our bodies, which obviously will someday fall away as well. We have to look to those things, to the thing that never ever falls away, that never fades away, that never diminishes, that is always you, has always been you, and will always be you. But if we look at the thoughts will fall away, they'll come and go, as the feelings, beliefs change along the way, our experiences come and go, our memories will fade away. What is it that never fades away? And what is it that never leaves you? So right now, I invite you just to empty out all the stories, all the beliefs, all the self-images of who you think you are, who the mind has convinced you are. Please hear these words. If you don't do anything else in this meditation, this is a powerful process. And that is just letting go of all the old stories of who you think you are, meaning your personality, your person. You are not the person. What is the person? The person is a bunch of stories and ideas and beliefs that we have accumulated over the years, where we've listened to the mind that is constantly judging us, by the way. We've listened to the mind and we've fallen prey, we've fallen trap to this mind that has convinced us of this person that we are. And again, most of the stories that we've taken on are not kind. We were created in the likeness and the image of God. So in order for us to experience that truth of who we are, we have to let go of all these stories and self-images and beliefs about who we have thought ourselves to be. If someone were to come up and say, "Who are you?" you might give a description. Well, if you're talking over the phone, I'm 5'10", I weigh 135 pounds, I've got brown hair, and then you might go on to describe what you do. Well, I teach meditation, I do inspirational speaking, and you might say, I'm a good guy most of the time, I'm a little insecure. So what we describe is ourself, is the body, what we physically do in the world, or our emotional beliefs, none of which are the truth of who we are. Because again, all of those things will come and go. What is the eternal truth of who you are? What is it that doesn't come and go? And I mentioned this quote yesterday, which I love, from A Course in Miracles. Nothing real can ever be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. And therein lies the peace of God. The truth of who you are can never be attacked, can never be threatened, can never be diminished. The only thing that can be attacked and threatened and diminished is the idea, the self-image of who you think you are, which is simply believing the lies and the illusion of the mind. That's why it's so important, at least for this meditation, and if you want to pick this up afterwards, please feel free to do so. but just to let go of all the stories of who you think you are. The description of how you would describe yourself as a person, I invite you just to let go of all of that and dive deeper into that truth of who you are, which is already peace and is not something you need to seek, because you are already that. The only thing you need to do is let go of all these stories that block you from realizing the truth and recognizing the truth of who you are right now in this moment. So yes, we try so hard to be happy. But if we let go of all these old stories and beliefs of who we think we are, all these illusions, the only thing that remains is you. You can empty out, and by the way, I ask you to empty out every single thing that you think or know about yourself, so that the only one thing that remains is simply you, the only thing that you cannot get rid of, and that is you, your core self, your core truth. So just bringing your awareness to your breath. Just noticing the breath, noticing that it gently flows in and out without any effort whatsoever. So there's no trying, there's no doing, there's no effort, not with observing the breath, not with this meditation, and ultimately not with life itself. When you are flowing with life and trusting and having faith that every single thing is flowing in the direction it needs to, then the effort and the trying and the doing fall away, so that there is this beautiful freedom of simply flowing with life and God itself. So and you might hear my doggy in the background, just notice, and if there's any thoughts that come up with that, some it might be good for some people, might be bad for others. It's just a thought, and just allow it to gently and effortlessly pass on by, like anything. Whether it's clangy noise or something beautiful, just notice whatever thoughts you have with that, and come back to being aware of the breath. One of my teachers in the past, at the end of our meditation workshop for the week, his disciples came in banging pots and pans and just said, keep being focused and rooted in the present moment. And maybe the mind will get busy that has thoughts about the pots and pans. It's just a thought. I used to meditate regularly at airports when I used to fly. People would walk by, there was lots of noise. The mind just gets busy with thoughts. You can simply notice them. The thoughts in and of themselves are not bad or wrong. It can be even a thought of hatred. If you recognize that it's just a thought, and then you simply allow it to easily and effortlessly pass on by and come back to the present moment, or come back to being aware of your breath, there can be peace no matter what thought, no matter what feeling you have, because we can recognize that it's just the mind being busy, and it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with peace. It has nothing to do with joy or love. So again, just being aware of the breath. When the thoughts come in, just simply notice them. You don't have to analyze them, try to figure them out, try to correct your thinking. Just simply allow them to gently and effortlessly pass on by, and come back to being aware of your breath. And I invite you to practice that right now. And if your mind has drifted, just simply come back to the present moment, which means you're not thinking about the past, you're not worrying about the future. You're just coming back to being a conscious witness to the thoughts, to the breath, and anything that arises, because you, the true you, is the non-physical, empty, conscious awareness of it all, the witness to life. You are not the one in the movie of life. You are the one witnessing the movie of life. And you don't need the movie of life to be any different than what it is. You are simply watching it. That's all. And if your mind has drifted, once again, just coming back to being aware of the breath, being a witness to the breath. And if your mind gets busy, where you're feeling restless or bored, just simply notice whatever thoughts that you have with that, and then come back to being a witness to the breath once again. If your mind has drifted, again, just coming back to the present moment, coming back to being aware, being the truth of who you are, a conscious witness to life. And just come back to being aware of the breath now. Just coming back to the present moment again, and just being aware of your breath. And we're practicing awareness so that you can live this awareness during your day as well. Observing life, observing when you walk, observing your thoughts, observing your feelings, the judgments, observing all of life, because you are the conscious witness of all of it and don't need any of it to be any different than what it is. And just being aware of your breath once again. there, and I think we'll bring this meditation to completion. And just for those of you who would like to continue meditating, you can mute or turn this device off. And thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. And for those of you who are ready to finish, just taking in a nice deep breath. And just making sure you're fully grounded in this wonderful physical body that gets us around. And maybe stretching your body a little bit and taking your time, and whenever you're ready, opening your eyes. So I'm going to go over to YouTube, and if anybody wants to say anything, you're welcome to. And if not, that's okay too. Good morning, Sandy. Good morning. Enjoy the change of scenery as you visit your mom. Jamestown? Is that where you're at right now, Jamestown? Oh, or were you thinking I was in Jamestown? I'm in South Haven. Let's see here. Oh, you took the message back, so maybe you realized it was South Haven. But in any case, it's all good, Sandy. It's all good. Thanks, Sandy, for joining. Thank you. I'll be on tomorrow morning. I will not be meditating on Saturday morning. I'll probably meditate on Sunday instead of Saturday. So if you want to join, okay. All right. Have a beautiful day. Hopefully you're getting some sunshine over Metro Detroit as well. Thanks for joining, my friend. Lots of love. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Oh, okay. I wanted to see if you say something. Okay. Enjoy the changes of scenery as you visit your mom. Namaste. Okay, you removed Jamestown, right? I have something on there. A little something on my camera there. Okay. All right, my friend. We'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye-bye.